Hey everyone, welcome back. For anyone who's new, my name is Marianne. I live here in Canada with my husband and two kids ages 5 and 7, and I make videos on simplifying life and motherhood through easy organization and decluttering. Today I am sharing 8 things we do not buy. Similar to most of what I do and most of my videos, the goals of like what we buy or what we decide not to buy are motivated by saving money, having a decluttered, like simple, clutter-free home, and number 3 is kind of reducing the waste and the garbage in the landfills and in like the planet. And overall, it's to like make our lives in this sort of like busy modern world, to make our lives happier, easier, calmer, so that we're able to give back everything we can to make the world a little bit happier and a little bit lighter. I personally have watched a few of these videos in the past and I've always loved this category. I love seeing like what other people decide not to buy, and I love that it gives me ideas of things like, you know, why have I been buying this all these years just sort of out of habit? So I'm hoping this video also inspires you and gives you some ideas. Keep in mind, not every item on my list is going to also be on your list. What works for us, it's not always going to ring true to you and feel good for you. So keep that in mind. If something doesn't feel right, just like let it pass by and just focus on the ideas that hopefully motivate you and keep you moving forward to living like that simple, like super simple, decluttered, super peaceful home and life. I'm kind of strategically doing this the week before Christmas because I find that that's sometimes when a lot of people like kind of go crazy and think, oh my gosh, like I didn't buy enough of this, I need to buy some of these, and people are coming over, I need this, or I didn't get enough gifts for the kids or for my family and I need to like buy more. So I'm sort of like hoping that this encourages people to take a step back and think like, do we really need these items? Do the people in our lives really need these items? Let's like think twice about that so that we don't go back in January and think, oh dang, like I regret all of those purchases. What was I thinking? Secondly, if you are actually watching this in January or you're planning to kick off some challenges in the new year in terms of like budgeting or having a simple decluttered life, this should give you some inspiration for that. With that being said, let's get into the list. Category number 1 of things we do not buy are things that are not on my list, aka impulse purchases. And now obviously once in a blue moon I like go crazy and buy something I didn't plan, but it rarely happens and I find it happening less and less. I pretty much always have like a couple shopping lists going. So obviously we have our grocery list. I've done lots of meal planning videos, and that's like something that I feel like is pretty common for people. You have a grocery list, you follow it, you're good to go. But then there's a whole other shopping list that I usually have, and I have a handwritten one usually in the back of my agenda. I like have a little list jotted down on one of the blank pages at the back, and it has like a little shopping list going, and that is usually for like basically bigger ticket items. Sometimes it's something for myself. If it's a clothing item, say I'm thinking like it's been a few weeks that I'm thinking, oh, like I really want a black cardigan. I jot that on my shopping list, and then I know that I have that on my list, and that's something that I know I've thought about and I absolutely and definitely want and need. Same thing with kids' clothes. I do not like just go out and like shop. I always have a little list. So if I need like socks for Leo, I know right now that that's on my list for Leo. It is really cold here in Canada and I've been sending him to school with short summer socks for the last few weeks. So I know probably over the holidays, I'll keep my eye out and find like a set of tall, long winter socks for Leo. Same thing for Amy Rose. I don't just go and pick up something because I think it's cute. I always have like a little list of things that I know she needs. Same thing goes even for furniture items or decor items or something for the house. Say I see something and it is not on my list, but I'm like, you know what, I'd love to have that. I see it at the store or I see it on a video, like someone has influenced me, which is like the whole point of some videos is to influence you to buy things. It's like we've sort of forgotten that, and I feel like sometimes I even need a reminder, like people are entertaining us, but also a lot of times they're wanting you to buy what they're selling. If that's the case and I think, oh, that looks awesome, that's so cool, or my friend tells me about something she loves, I write that on my list and then I wait. And I wait a week, or I wait a month, or if it's something big, I wait 6 months. And then I think, is that still on my list? Or have I did I forget I even needed that? Was it really that important? Has the whole season come and gone? And I'm thinking, oh, I forgot I even wanted a new bathing suit because I only went to the beach one time. So that's why I love having a list. Reducing the impulse purchases honestly has changed my life. Category number 2 of things we no longer buy are things that we can borrow. So this is especially for things I'm only using once or twice or a handful of times, or even for a short period of time. This is a really good example for anything for like young kids that are constantly growing. So say you need like a playpen, or say you need a bassinet and you're only going to use the bassinet for 6 weeks of the baby's life. Is that something that you really need to invest a lot of time and money in? Or is that something you could borrow from a friend and then they need it back for their next baby and then you return it? So A, we're saving money by not purchasing something that we're only going to use for a short period. And B, we're not bringing any more permanent clutter into our home that I have to care for and deal with and manage for the rest of its life. A great example is in the summer, our city did a like outdoor yoga every Sunday morning throughout the summer in our downtown. They closed down the street and everyone like could bring their own yoga mat, and it was free, and a local gym kind of partnered with the city to do it, and it was super cute and super lovely, and I really loved doing it, and I thought it would be something really cool that Amy Rose would like to do with me. She is my 5-year-old daughter. I think actually Leo may have come one time too. When I'm doing my at-home yoga, she'll sometimes like do like the kids yoga on YouTube, and both of the kids really like that, so I thought this would be a really cool activity to do for her. It was something that only lasted over the summer, and I knew she wouldn't come every single time. It was something that maybe she would do maybe 3 or 4 times. So I thought, do I need to buy a whole new yoga mat for my 5-year-old daughter who doesn't actually do real yoga, or do I borrow? So I thought, who might have a yoga mat that they're not using every day? And that is my mom. So I said, hey mom, do you have a yoga mat we could borrow? And she says yes. So the very next day, she brought over this yoga mat. We used it for the summer, and then we were able to return it. So it is not actually like something permanent that we have to own and look after. So if there is an opportunity to borrow something instead of buying it, I almost always opt for that. And the same thing, I love when my friends like say, hey, can I borrow a life jacket for the kids? Like we're going to a cottage. And I'm like, heck yes, like I want you to use our items that are gonna just sit there and collect dust for the 360 days per year that we're not using them. So if you're a friend of mine in real life and you want to borrow something, call me anytime. Category number 3 of things we do not buy are things we do not have a budget for and we cannot afford. I know this seems so obvious, but with ourselves, when the kids were being born and it was chaotic and, you know, life just got super busy, we kind of lost focus, lost track of like what was the most important, and we just sort of fell into the groove of what everybody else was doing. But frankly, our income and our budget and our lifestyle is different than everyone else's. So just because friends of ours are doing something or buying something or living a certain way, we don't have to do that. And starting to give myself permission to not just like follow what everyone else is doing and to say no when it's something that I can't afford or we just don't have the budget for it this year, it is liberating. It took so much pressure off. There was a time where we were constantly just trying to keep up with everybody else, do things and buy things because everybody else was, so we should be able to. And you know what, that just isn't the case. And we have different priorities and other people have different priorities, and I love that we all get to choose that. We all get to choose our priorities. And so giving ourselves and myself and our family permission to choose what's most important to us has felt so good and has improved our lives so much. So category number 4 are items that we do not have room for. This one is more of, emphasizes more of like the decluttering, having a simple home so it's like easy to look after. A good example is in the summertime, a friend offered her trampoline to us for the kids, and it was a beautiful trampoline. It was in amazing condition, and I knew my kids would love a trampoline. Like there was no doubt about it. They would play with it. It would be super fun. It would be a fun activity to have in the summer. I know so many families have them, but our backyard is just not big enough for a trampoline. So no matter how much we wanted it or how cool I thought it would be, we unfortunately had to say no. And like, it was a bummer at the time, but honestly, I didn't really think about it again after. And you know what? Our lives are still great. We're still happy. The kids are still happy. They get to go to their friends' houses and their cousins' houses and use their trampolines. And you know what? We're still good parents and we're still doing our best. And I'm sharing that because I want you to know that like, if you don't have room for the Barbie dream house this Christmas in your apartment, like that is fine. And although that item technically would have been free, so like something we technically didn't buy, I have the exact same thoughts and the exact same kind of process in my mind when I'm out shopping for something. If I'm looking for something for the kids or like anything that I'm buying for the house, I'm thinking, where am I going to store that? Where is that going to be used in our home? do we have space for it? Those questions like instantly are just part of the process when I'm purchasing something. Then I come home, and like when I come home and bring purchases home, it's never a burden. I bring something new into our home, I know I have a space for it. It's always like, oh, we can put that away easily. That takes 1 second to put away. And there's just like no stress associated with bringing that home and trying to spend an hour figuring out where the heck to put it. Category number 5 of items of things we no longer buy are books. We are avid readers, all 4 of us, especially Scott, Leo, and I love reading. The kids are slowly starting to like read on their own, which is super fun. However, I can't tell you the last time I actually bought a book like new, because we go to the library nonstop. Like we go to the library almost weekly. We love our library. We have one that's like a 2-minute drive away, and then we have another one in the city over that's a 20-minute drive away that's also super cute. It is like an ongoing activity that we do with the kids. The kids love it there. They always have little activities on the weekends for them, and it cost $0 to have a library card in our city. And the second best part is that we can return the books. So right now it is Christmas time in our house, and our library actually did like a Christmas book advent event, I guess, where you pick up 12 books for each of the kids, and then each morning for 12 days before Christmas, they get to unwrap a new book from the library. Between like December 13th and Christmas Eve, we have 24 new books added to our house, which is a lot of books, and that's a lot of books to manage, but they all get returned. So usually on Boxing Day or like the 27th of December, I take all my books, I put all of our library books in our little library bag, and I take them down and I drop them off, and they have provided so much entertainment for us and the kids, and then I never have to look after them again or see them again, and the library does all the work. Category number 6 are brand new items that we could find used. We rarely, if ever, buy something brand new if we're able to find it used or secondhand. We almost always go that way because A, it's almost always cheaper, and B, we are like reducing how many new items we're adding into this world and into the landfills and adding to our sweet little planet. If we can buy used, that is almost always our first choice. Category number 7 is something very specific and very personal to me, but I'm sharing it because I feel like other people can relate, and that is throw pillows. So technically we do have like 3 throw pillows. Hold on, I'll show you. So I own 3 throw pillows, but these 3 I've had forever, and they're like nice and they're stiff and they like kind of stay in place. They have like a very specific home on like a bench that we use them for, and I like love the whole little vignette thing happening. However, as a general rule, after having kids, I feel like the throw pillows made me insane. I love the look of throw pillows. I think they're so cute in photos. I love when like a little living room is like all set up with their little throw pillows. So darn cute. However, with 2 kids and a husband and myself, I was finding I'm picking up our throw pillows like 6 times a day, and it was making me nuts. It's like I was always straightening them. So it's like super random, super specific, but letting go of throw pillows was amazing. If throw pillows drive you nuts, try like a month or week without them and see if you love it as much as I do. Last category, category number 8 of things we no longer buy or try to avoid, is items from the dollar store. So I know this is probably like a super unpopular one, and I definitely don't say we never go to the dollar store. We have a dollar store which is like a 10-minute walk from our house. We often will take the kids up there in the summer. If we're like going on a walk, we'll stop in to get like a snack. We definitely get consumables there if we need them. However, as like a rule, I try to avoid even going to the dollar store, because as much as I'm not like a huge shopper, I do find like it sucks me in, and all of a sudden I'm spending $40 on stuff that I never planned on and don't really need. Also find that most of the items basically end up in the garbage. So this is a big thing, definitely, like when we are at clients' houses and even in my own home. Like I know that any of the toys typically are gonna break in 2 days. Obviously there are exceptions to every rule. However, in general, I find most of the stuff there at the dollar store It's like not the best. I find there are so many like little items that they're so cheap, so you're tempted to buy, but really you don't end up using them. You end up donating them or not using them, or they end up like collecting dust, and everything just ends up in the garbage. I know a lot of people love the dollar store, so like don't get mad at me for saying that, but that is just like a little tip that I try to avoid it as much as I can. Okay guys, that is my list. Those are my 8 categories of items that we do not buy to manage the clutter in our home, to save money, and to save our little planet from having more garbage and more trash than it already has. I hope this gave you some ideas that might work for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I am planning a video for next week, which is, I think it's gonna do like a pre-Christmas reset our home. So I'm gonna reset different spaces in our home right before Christmas to make it feel like more settled and more calm before like kind of the busyness of those few days. And then I'm also planning a video for the end of the year with a few ideas for like challenges or goals that you might wanna consider for you and your family for the new year. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye guys.